To this now, the ANC has described the DA's court challenge against Employment Equity Amendment Act as anti-transformative. The DA has launched the court action against the Minister of Employment and Labour, Nomakhosazana Meth, on International Workers' Day. Now, the party, which is a major stakeholder in the government of national unity, says that Section 15A of the Employment Equity Amendment Act actually introduces rigid national race quotas in the workplace. Bagraim, the spokesperson for Labour for the Democratic Alliance, joins us now to further unpack this. Michael, it's so great to have you with us on SA Today. Welcome, sir. So tell us all about what necessitated this court action on the DA's part.
Thank you. Yeah, we've not been in favour of social engineering for many years, and everyone who watches the political scene will now understand that. We don't want to reflect what the National Party did under apartheid and what the Nazis did in the 40s. What we want is we want to grow the economy and we want to ensure that more jobs are created. We're sitting at 42% unemployment. In fact, in some places with the youth, it's almost 70% unemployment. So it can't be business as usual. We've had the equity legislation on our statute book for over 20 years. And for that time, it's growing worse and worse. It just hasn't worked. And if we want to do the same experiment time and time again, just try and make it harsher, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So now what the minister has done, and it's not Minister Meth, it was the previous minister who introduced this under 15A, has put in actual exclusive quotas per industry and has said that you will reach those targets, otherwise we're going to give you massive fines. What that means is that the business community is either going to close up shop or stop employing, or in fact seek elsewhere, seek better climes. Now, we don't want that. What we want is we need to start working on the economy, we need to start working on our education system, and we need to look at how we can actually create more jobs for everyone. It's not a racial engineering this, it's for everyone. Every single family in South Africa, whether you're white, black, Indian, colored, they're all suffering from this. So what's happened is, with this exclusivity of quotas for each particular race group, we've got all sorts of problems that arise out of it. For instance, do we introduce a new race register in South Africa? And God forbid, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see what was done under the National Party. And we believe strongly that if in fact we actually grow the economy, that we will reflect the demographics of South Africa. We will reflect it. We don't stand in the way of redress. We are a party that agrees entirely with the Constitution of South Africa. It's a forward-thinking, fantastic constitution. The Constitution says we must seek redress for the wrongs and the ills of the past, and in particular the ills of racial engineering that took place under the National Party. So we need to seek that redress. Now, if the legislation is not giving us that redress, which we can see is happening and won't happen under the social engineering that is now wanting to be introduced, if it won't happen, then we're actually breaching the Constitution. Now, this is a blunt tool that the regulations are giving the minister. We don't know even if it was scientific to set those targets. She just said, and the previous minister, he just said, that they consulted. We don't know with whom, how, and what did they do. They had a few city hall meetings and consulted, I suppose, with, you know how these meetings work. You have a group of people, you bus them in, you say, this is what we want to do, and you hear some clapping, and we say, we've now consulted, we're now setting the targets. But the business community are saying, it hasn't been scientifically done, it hasn't been done with a forethought as to what our industry is, where we are, what qualifications we need, etc. What's happened, of course, and this is the argument that we're hearing from the ANC, is that there's a weighting of white, pale male in the upper echelons of the business community, which is true. But it's going to take time and a lot of hard work. Our government has to do a lot of hard work to actually reflect the demographics of South Africa.
Michael.
And it will happen. It will happen, but we need to make it faster. We need to make sure that it's people that have the ability and that are fit for purpose to go in. I'm hearing from everyone that, yes, there is legislation right now.
Yes.
That if someone says they are somehow discriminated against because they're black or female or disabled, we've got legislation that that person can come forward and challenge it.
All right.
As a labor lawyer, I've been practicing for 40 years, and in particular the last 20 years, I've had a handful of cases where people have come to me and said, I've been discouraged from getting that job or from a promotion because I'm black or because I'm colored, Indian.
Michael, sorry, for the interest of time, Michael, I'm sorry to get in there. Look,
no problem.
Look, I mean, what are you counter-proposing then as a more viable option with the minister? And have you tested this theory and conducted the relevant employment, labor equity, feasibility studies, as well as needed research that actually affirms your view? As I've just heard you saying that you don't even know where the minister actually came up with these numbers.
Yeah, well, we don't know. But we have tested it. What's happening, what we're doing in the Western Province, which is under a Democratic Alliance government, we've brought the unemployment down to below 19% compared to the 42% on the national basis.
How?
And that's bringing it down even subject to the national laws. And how we're doing it is we're looking at deregulation, getting rid of red tape, trying to act as an intermediary between those seeking jobs and the business community. And the government, the local government, the provincial government is helping the business community to try and place people in that position. And a strong viewpoint, and it's a strong test. We've had now 5 years of this where we've actually halved the unemployment. And in halving the unemployment, we're showing the equity figures getting stronger and stronger. So you can't say we haven't tested it. It's tested, it's been worked. It's still no good. It's still no good. 19% unemployment is no good. We need to go down to 3-4% unemployment.
All right.
But we got to keep trying.
Absolutely, Michael, because I mean, we know that, of course, you're also saying that this section actually violates, I'm talking about Section 15A there, violates Section 9 of the Constitution that guarantees equality before the law. But I mean, Michael, you and I know it's not reflective of the current reality in our labor force. I know. But unfortunately, we have to leave our conversation there. Hopefully, we can take it further at some other point, Michael. Let's leave it there for now. That is Mr. Michael Bagraim there, who's the DA spokesperson on Labour on their proposed court action on the Employment Equity Amendment Act.